Hi everyone. This will be the last video that I am doing with regard to the financial statements. Now, step by step, I have introduced you the two financial statements, and now I have given an idea about the formats of the financial statements. And today we'll see when you are given a trial balance, using the trial balance, how we are going to prepare a set of financial statements. Uh, in order to do that, I have selected the activity 10 in your grade 11 textbook. So I hope you all have a very good understanding about the two formats and you all are ready with the two formats. Okay. This is the activity 10 in page number 66 of your book. Before doing the sum, we must, as an approach, we must read the information given. So here it says the accounting period of Bimali's business ends on 31st December 2019. We'll consider it as 2019. The trial balance as at 31st December 2019 is given below. So all these balances are at the end of the accounting period. So before now let's first identify the accounting period that we are going to consider here. So as you all know, 1st January 2019 will be the beginning of Bimali's business, and after 12 months it will be the 31st December 2019. So they have told that the last date of the accounting period will be 31st December 2019, and there onwards you had to calculate 12 months, so then you will end up with 1st January 2019. So then this is the accounting period or the financial period that we are going to consider in preparing our financial statements. Then they have given the account name and the debit and the credits, capital, trade debtors, trade creditors, stocks, as at 1st January 2019. It's very important. So when you are clear with the accounting period, when they say stocks as at 1st January 2019 will be the opening stock. So you are getting a hint about that. Which stock is this based on the accounting period? This has to be the opening stocks of the business. So then purchases, carriage inward, sales commission, insurance expense, rent income, discount received, sales, discount given, machinery and equipment, buildings, bank loan, to be settled after 4 years, interest expenses, bank overdraft, cash in hand, bad debts, salaries, administration and bank charges. Okay. So then we have to see whether the trial balance have been balanced. If it is not balancing, definitely our final accounts will not be correct. So therefore, and you will find a lot of problems in preparing the statement of financial position. So thereby you have to see whether the debit balances of the given trial balance are equal to the credit balances of the trial balance. Okay. Then we'll go to the requirements. Then they say, assume that the entire stock has been sold out. Assume that the entire stock has been sold out. That is the additional information actually you were given. So that means there are no closing stocks at the end of the accounting period. That means there's no stock as at 31st December 2019. All the stocks have been sold during the period. So then there can't be closing stocks in this sum. Then the requirement will be prepare the profit or loss statement for the year ended 31st December 2019. And the second requirement will be prepare the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2019. So look at the wording, profit or loss statement for the year ended 31st December 2019. Year ended 31st December. Then the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2019. So the statement of financial position is for a particular date, for the last date, 31st December 2019. Then the statement, profit or loss statement will show you the operational results during the accounting period starting from 1st of January 2019 to 31st December 2019. But statement of financial position will be prepared to show the balances of assets, equity and liabilities of the business, of Bimali's business on the particular date of 31st December 2019. So the date before this and date after this will be, after that will be, the day before and after, the value of assets, equity and liabilities will be changed. So this will be the the requirement will be to prepare the statement on particular date, on this particular date, 31st December, right? So with all these things in mind, we'll move on to the preparation of the statements. So again, to revise you, first you have to read the information given and identify the accounting period. Then just to browse through the trial balance, you have to go through it. Just read once and see whether the balances of the trial balance are equal, whether the trial balance is equal, and then see whether they have given any additional information. If it is so, you have to go through that as well. You have to consider it very well. Then for the requirements or the preparation part. So then after that, you have to identify the accounting period like this, right? Now everything is ready. Then we'll move on to the formats. So as I explained to you in my earlier video, the things which I have printed in blue color here must be with you before you are doing the sum. You have to take one full page for the preparation of profit or loss statement and another one full page for the statement of preparation of the statement of financial position. And these two must be done in two separate sheets, not on the same sheet, one at the front and one at the back. To mind you again, the two statements must be drafted, or the formats must be done in two separate sheets, not on the same sheet, front and the back. Because when you are turning the sheet, it consumes more time. Without notice, you will be ended up running short of time, and you will be not able to finish the sum at the given time, at the allocated time period. So these are the hints. So you have to do them equally in two parallel sheets. Then start writing after drafting it with 3 columns and the description column. First, you have to write this. According to the information given in the sum, you must write Business of Bimali Profit or Loss Statement for the year ended 31st December 2019. You will be earning marks for this. Half a mark for given this information. Then sales, cost of sales, gross profit, other incomes, all these you have to. Parallelly, in the statement of financial position also, you have to write this heading according to the given sum. Business of Bimali statement of financial position as at 31st December 2019, and the rupees must be indicated. 3 columns should be there. At the moment, without adjustments, since we are doing this, we won't need 3 columns, but we'll stick to that format and proceed. So then again for this description, you will be given another half a mark. I mean, you will be awarded half a mark for the description in the statement of financial position, and another half a mark will be awarded for the business of for the in heading that you are going to do in the profit or loss statement. And this wording should be very, very clear here. For the year ended, profit or loss statement is for the year ended 31st December 2019. A statement of financial position will be as at particular date should be mentioned. Right. Now, when we go to the profit or loss statement, you have to write the word sales as the first item and write less cost of sales. And after that, you have to leave about 5 lines before the word gross profit. Before the word gross profit, here, you have to leave gap of 5 lines. With my previous experiences, I'm talking to you. Always, this will be enough. 5 lines you have to keep. Sales will be the first figure, first item, then less cost of sales. After that, up to gross profit. In between, leave 5 lines. Then next line itself, you write the word add other incomes. Then there you have to leave 2 lines. 2 lines in between expenses and other incomes. There should be 2 lines. Then the third line you can write less expenses, and the next line itself we are going to categorize our expenses. Distribution expenses must be given, then administration expenses must be given, and the financial and other expenses. But in between, again, you have to keep 5 lines. 5 lines under distribution, 5 lines under administration, and 5 lines on about 3 lines for financial and other, because you won't be getting much items under financial and other expenses. So we can take it as 1 and leave about 3 lines. Distribution expenses, it should be 5. Administration expenses, again 5. And at the last line, you can write the word net profit transferred to the capital account. Net profit transferred to the capital account must come as the last word. The last sentence, in the last line of the page. Okay, so that's how we are going to manage our space, the full paper. You can always memorize these words that I have given in blue color, and you can stick to the number of lines that you have to preserve for that. Then when you move on to the statement of financial position, again there should be the first line itself, you can write non-current assets, then leave about 4 lines. 4 lines gap will be enough. Then under current assets, here 4 lines, 5 lines you have to leave. Under non-current assets also you have to leave 5 lines. Then under current assets, again 5 lines. Then you will get the total assets figure, which you are going to equalize. Then the next line itself, you can write equity and liabilities. Then next line, capital asset 1st January 2019, according to this sum. Then for that, we are going to add net profit in the next line and leave about another 1 line. Then less drawings. Then leave another line, and then directly you can move on to non-current liabilities. There are about 2 lines. You will be required about 2 lines. You have to reserve 2 lines there. And under current liabilities, you have to leave about 4 lines. Then the final line will be equity and liabilities. And that will be the answer that you are going to double underline here, like the total assets value. So once, if you have done the sum properly, the total assets of the value of the total assets of the business must be equal to the equity and liabilities value. That's how we are going to make sure that our sum is correct. Most probably it will be correct once the two figures are equal, but there can be errors in between. We'll learn about them later. So one thing that you have to remember is we have to draw the two formats parallelly. And another thing that you have to note here is we are not going to do this starting from the sales. I'm starting from top and go on doing downwards. And again, at the second step, we'll go on to the statement of financial position and go on starting working out from here to here. Never, never, don't do that. You'll run short of time. So what you must do is after you have I had these two formats, after you have drafted the two formats like this, which I have given in blue, then you have to go to the sum again. And we have to go through the trial balance, and according to the account names are given, we have to put it under the correct columns of the two statements. So in this activity, in activity 10, first you were given the balance of capital of 400,000. So it's a credit balance. So definitely there's no space. In the profit or loss statement, we'll be putting, or we will be considering only the incomes and expenses. In the in the statement of financial position only, we'll be looking at the assets, equity and liabilities. So then here, as the first figure given in the trial balance, capital of 400,000 must come to the statement of financial position under equity and liabilities. So this is the figure, equity and liabilities. Under that, there will be a heading called capital as at 1st January 2019. So that is 400,000. That must come to the second column of the statement. Second column. Equity and liabilities of 400,000. A credit balance must come there, because equity is always a credit. Then trade debtors will be the second item. So that also goes to statement of financial position. Trade debtors will be categorized under or will be noted down under current assets. So then trade debtors of 34,000 debit balance will be written under current assets like this. Trade debtors 34,000. Then we'll move on to the next account, that is trade creditors. Creditors balance is given. Creditors balance is a credit balance of 45,000. Creditors comes under current liabilities. So trade creditors of the 45,000 will be listed like this, coming to the second column. Current liabilities, trade creditors, 45,000. Then you have been given stocks as at 1st January 2019. So opening stock comes under cost of sales. Now you have to have a better understanding where these items should go. So when you are calculating cost of sales, we need this opening stocks in order to calculate cost of sales. So then here 1st January 2019, the figure will be 16,000, which comes again under the second column. Then you have purchases that also will be listed down in the profit or loss statement after opening stock, that is purchases. A debit balance of 395,000, it will also be coming to the second column. Then carriage inwards, a debit balance. We know it's an expense. Carriage inwards is an expense which goes along with the purchases, which is very difficult to differentiate from the purchases. So that will also be considered when we are calculating cost of sales, and it will be also listed under purchases as 15,000. Then opening stocks, purchases and carriage inwards were taken. Then we'll move on to the next figure, sales commission. Sales commission. Sales commission is a little bit of tricky item that they are going to give us under the trial balance. If it indicates just the word sales commission, and if it's a debit balance in the trial balance, always it has to be an expense, because we know only the assets and expense balances will be debited. So then sales commission, when it is a debit balance of 9,000 according to this sum, we are not going to consider it as an other income here. We are going to consider it as an distribution expense, and we will be taking it under sales commission. And that should be listed in the first column. Sales commission of 9,000. Then the other one is, if they indicate the word sales commission income directly, or if they said sales commission and the balance, if the balance comes under the credit column, definitely we have to consider it as an other income, and we have to list out that under the other incomes. But here, as I told you, here we have the word sales commission only, and it's a debit balance, therefore we are going to debit. Even though if in the trial balance, if they have mentioned it as sales commission, and if it's a credit, definitely you have to consider it as an income. Okay. So then insurance expenses of 12,000. Insurance expenses goes under administration. So we will be treated it in the profit or loss account under administration expenses, 12,000. Then rent income of 30,000 comes under other incomes. It comes here, second column, rent income. It's an income. It comes under other income. So then discount received, next figure, discount received, also an income, and it's a credit of 6,000. That also we are going to list out under other incomes. We are receiving a discount. Bimali is receiving a discount. So it will be an income for us, 6,000. Then sales, 650,000. So sales will be the first item in the profit or loss statement. So that goes to the third column. To mind you, it goes to the third column, 650,000, the sales figure. In a sum, if you were given credit sales and cash sales, so you had to get the total, and the total figure must be put under sales. But in this case, not. Here and there, I'm explaining the possibilities that you'll be tested at the exam. Okay. Then after sales in the trial balance, we are in the figure of discount given. We are giving discounts for the customers, that means for the debtors. So it's a distribution expense. When you do sales, we'll be able to give discounts. So then it comes under distribution expenses as 3,000 under the first column. Then machinery and equipment and buildings were given. Those are non-current assets. They must be listed under non-current assets. and they must be listed in the third column like this. Third column. Machinery and equipment 120,000. Buildings 500,000. Then they said bank loan to be settled after 4 years. This information given within brackets and other information, other relevant information are very, very important for us when we are doing this kind of sums. So then when here it says to be settled after 4 years, that means it is more than, and it will be exist within more than one accounting period, 4 years time. So then we have to consider bank loan as a non-current liability, and you have to treat it under non-current liabilities. Bank loan to be settled after 4 years comes to the last column or the third column as 160,000. It's a credit balance because it's a liability. 160,000. Then interest expense is the other tricky one. Interest expenses, if they have been considered it as a debit balance, that's an expense. It's an expense of finance. It's a financial expense. So we have to categorize it under interest expense under financial and other expenses. Interest expense of 16,000. What I said it was tricky is sometimes they said interest income. Interest income. So at that time you have to consider the word income is there. At that time you have to consider it as an other income. But in this case, they have clearly mentioned it's interest expense. So it's 16,000. Okay, done. Then we have to move on to the bank overdraft. Again, you know, bank overdraft is a current liability. So under statement of financial position and after trade creditors under current liabilities, we are going to list out bank overdraft 20,000. It's a credit balance, bank overdraft. It's a short-term liability. Then cash in hand. That's actually the cash balance in the business, physical in the business. So that will be a current asset. We have to list it under current assets. Here it says it's 155,000 rupees. Then the next item will be the bad debts. Bad debts resulted as a result of credit sales, and when the debtors are unable to pay them, we will be consider them as debtors which have been gone bad, unrecovered debts. So they will be known as bad debts, and we'll consider under distribution expenses. So bad debts in this sum, there's a balance of 7,000 as bad debts. Then salaries, administration, specifically they have been mentioned it as administration. So 25,000 will be in the profit or loss statement under administration expenses, salaries, administration, 25,000. And the last balance will be the bank charges. That will be a debit balance of 4,000, which is an expense again, bank charges, financial expense. Bank, when the bank is giving different services for the business, they will charge some fee out of them. In this case, which is 4,000. So we have already included the account balances given at proper places. Now, after listing them under the proper statement, under the proper headings, now it's a matter of go on calculating the totals. Don't try to put to find out the sales value first and put it here. Then under cost of sales, first one should be the opening stock. Then go on searching for the opening stock in the trial balance and getting the value. Then go on searching for the purchases like that. Don't do that because it consumes more time. Then when you do parallelly, when you are going to, this is like an exercise of fill in the blanks. Once you get the item in the trial balance, according to the order given in the trial balance, we will be putting the figures here and there. It can be in here or in the statement of financial position. We will be go on inserting the figures at proper places. And then as the second step, we will be go on calculating or adding and subtracting the proper figures. Okay. So that as an approach, we'll start from here. We'll first calculate the gross profit. Opening stock is 16,000, purchases 395, and carriage inwards 15. So when you add all these three, you will end up with 426,000, which will be the cost of sales of the business. This figure will be taken to this side at once. So that will be the 426,000. We are putting it within brackets because we are going to find the gross profit by finding the difference of sales and the cost of sales. Gross profit will be the difference of sales and the cost of sales. So thereby you will get the gross profit, which is 224,000. Cost of sales 426. From the sales of 650, when you deduct 426, you'll end up with a gross profit of 224,000. So actually, what does this mean? In order to earn 650,000 worth of sales, the Bimali's business has incurred a cost of 426,000 and they have ended up with a profit of 224,000 rupees. So after that, indirectly, they have earned some other incomes, not from the Bimali's business, from any other business, from other different types of businesses. Bimali has received a rent income and a discount received of 36,000, which we are going to add for this gross profit. So thereby, for the gross profit, when you add the total of other incomes, you'll end up with 36,000, and thereby the total income of the business will be 260,000 rupees. From that, we are going to deduct the different types of expenses. So distribution expenses, when you add all, you will get 19,000. Administration expenses, when you add, you will get 37,000. Financial and other expenses, when you add, you will end up with 20,000. So those three figures will be shown here. And they are, when you get the total of all three expenses, you will end up with 76,000. Again, which you are going to put within brackets, which I have missed here. So then you will be remembered that you have to deduct it. So this must come within brackets, 76,000, the total expenses of the business, right? So then from the total income of the business, when you deduct the total expenses of the business, you will end up with 184,000 rupees, which will be the net profit of the business, and that will be transferred to the capital account. So once you do this, don't think that you have finished or you have completed the sum. This 184,000, which will be the net profit of the business, must be transferred to the statement of financial position under this figure, under net profit. Equity and liabilities, opening capital they have given, which is 400,000 in this sum. And then for that, always you must add the net profit, which you are getting as the final figure in the profit or loss statement. That figure must be taken up to the opening capital, and those two figures must be added. They must be added. The total should be taken And this, according to this sum, the 584,000 will be the capital as at 31st December 2019, which will be the last date of Bimali's business, last date of Bimali's business. So this 584,000 will be the capital as at 31st December. In the test paper and in other papers as well, you will be tested this knowledge as well for the opening capital, once you add the net profit, and if there are any drawings in the sum, when you less that, what will you end up with? But luckily in this sum you don't have any drawings. Then for the capital, you have opening capital, you have to add the net profit. Thereby you have ended up with 584,000 rupees, which will be the closing capital or the capital as at 31st December 2019 of Bimali's business. Then going back to the beginning of the statement of financial position, you can get the total of the non-current assets, which is 620,000 here. Then get the total of non-current assets, which will be 189,000 here. And the two totals will give you the total assets of the business, which is going to be 809,000. When you add 622, 189,000, or all the non-current assets to the current assets of the business. In Bimali's business, the total assets will be 809,000 rupees. Then we'll move on to the other part, under equity and liabilities. So we have come up to the capital part, opening capital plus net profit, 584,000. Then non-current liabilities will be 160,000, which is already there in the third column. And we have to get the total of current liabilities as well. So that will be the total of 45,000 and 20,000, which is 65,000 here. And once you add all these three figures together, you are getting equity plus liabilities, again, which will add up to 809,000 rupees. So then, according to the accounting equation, always the assets of the business must be equal to the equity plus liabilities, which is, we have been proven here. Once you complete the sum, we have been proved that 809,000 will be the total assets, and equity and liabilities of the business will also be equal to 809,000. So I hope you have taken to your mind a proper way of approaching this kind of a sum. So in doing that, identification of the accounting period is very, very important, and studying the two formats are very, very important. Not the whole thing. I mean, the things which I have given in blue, if you can remember, that will be more than enough. Within few minutes, try to draft the profit or loss statement and the statement of financial position using the blue color headings, and keep necessary spaces in between, as I told you at the beginning. Insert the figures at the two statements once you get it in the order in the trial balance, and as the last step, go on calculating, I mean adding and subtracting the necessary figures. So unknowingly, at the end of the time allocated to you, you will be peacefully finishing the sum like this. So this is the approach. Don't go on starting from one corner and go on adding, writing, right? So don't do it. And the other point that I have to highlight to you is this: net profit transfer to the capital. Whatever the figure that you are getting here must be transferred as the word it mentioned into the capital account here. And you have to consider that figure also when you are balancing the financial statement. So start up calculating gross profit, cost of sales, and thereby gross profit. Then get the total of other incomes. Then get the total of other expenses. So at the exam, that's how you are allocating the marks. You will be given or you will be awarded marks for the two headings, half a mark here and another half a mark here. Then for the two formats, if you have done properly with rupees and all these headings, you will be given another half a mark. Then for the cost of sales figure, you will be given half a mark. Then for the gross profit, then for the other incomes total balance, then the distribution expense total balance, administration expense total balance, financial and other expense total balance. Then for the cost of sales, another mark total. For the writing of this wording, you will be awarded marks, even though the figure is wrong sometimes. If the wording is mentioned, you will be awarded marks. Same here. Then for the figures here, you'll be given marks. Then total of current assets. Then for the adjustment that you are doing here, you will be given marks. Under non-current liabilities, if you have put the proper figure and under non-current liabilities, you will be given marks and the total of current liabilities. So like that, you will be given marks. Okay. So that is the end of my video under the lesson of state of the final accounts or the statements of final accounts. And I hope you all have a very good understanding. And my next videos in the next lesson, in your next as the next video, I like to show you the way that we are going to do the adjustments. There will be 6 adjustments. We learn how to do those adjustments and what these adjustments are. Okay, nice to end up a session like this by balancing a sum. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.